If you were expecting a video about the new Sony RX1R3, sorry to disappoint. I wrote up a genius, and I say genius script for it, but I ran it by Janessa and she shut the whole idea down immediately. So I guess it's good to have a second opinion. But today I am reviewing a lens that costs nearly half of the price of the lens hood for the new RX1R3. It's nearly 1/3 of the price of the little thumb grip that is a cold shoe adapter thumb grip, so let that sink in. This is the new RX1RIII 27mm f2.8 and all-metal pancake lens with autofocus that's designed for APS-C sensors. I'm testing the Sony version, however I'm going to link the Fuji version as well because I think it's going to be a popular one for X-mount. So let's begin. This is the first autofocusing RX1RIII I've ever seen, and it is a good first effort. Construction is all aluminum and glass. Weight is a modest 170 grams. It feels good, not tank-like, but it feels better than the $127 price suggests. Starting at the rear, there is a metal mount, electronics, no weather sealing gasket, however, lens specs are here, and around the bottom is a little rubber cap for the USB-C port back here, which is used for firmware updates. Don't lose this little thing though. Manual focus ring is exceptionally smooth, well damped, all electronic, so it just rotates forever. No aperture ring, although the RX1RIII website clearly lists a declicked aperture ring. What's with that? Around the front is a tiny front element, some specs, logo, minimum focus of 0.3 meters or 1 foot, and a 39mm front filter thread. I use this lens on my A6100 and it makes for a compact setup. It's a walk-around street photographer's dream. Inside there are 6 elements in 5 groups, so it's a very simple setup, a 6-blade diaphragm, and a lead screw STM autofocus motor. And all of this can be yours for about the same amount of money as you pay in taxes if you bought the RX1R3, and I'm talking about the camera and the lens. Anyway, here are some samples straight out of my A6100. The only thing I did was I ran the portraits through Rebloom, which is an AI-powered automatic photo retouching tool. It doesn't affect the focus or the colors, it just removes temporary blemishes. So, ready, set, go. If the question is it usable? The answer is yes. It's a lens that has numerous optical flaws, which I will get into in about 30 seconds, but it produces some solid images with my humble A6100, and it's a solid option for a first lens if you aren't wanting to go out and spend 1 month's salary on a prime. This lens isn't comparable to something like the Viltrox 27 f1.2, but you could buy 4 of these for the price of one of those. Sharpness in the center of the frame wide open is good. Corners are not as good, but you'll hardly notice if your subject is in the center of the frame. If you do end up shooting brick walls, you'll see 3 things. First, heavy vignetting wide open. The corners are quite dark. Second, the corners and edges are significantly softer than the center of the frame wide open. And last, you get a strangely wavy distortion line. The very corners are stretched, but the middle has some sort of slight pincushion. Chromatic aberration control isn't a strong suit of this lens either. There is a lot of it even on an overcast day, so look out for that. And then I have to bring up the flaring. I haven't seen this type of crazy flaring in years. It's been a long time. This affects contrast levels. It is a tough, albeit interesting lens to use for backlit portraits. The bokeh is okay. It's a 6-blade diaphragm, so wide open you get circles, and in the corners and edges they are cat eyes, but stop top down, you'll get hexagons. There is some significant outlining in the bokeh balls, some fringing as well, and the size of the balls isn't huge unless you get really close to your subject. And then let's talk about autofocus. Well, this lens has autofocus, but it seems like it takes about 2 seconds for it to think about what it needs to do before it actually does it. So don't expect to capture some crazy sports action or even slightly moving subjects. Janessa, who is a skilled statue, even caused some out of focus photos with some slight movements. So you do have to have a subject that is less active. Focus breathing, likewise, is an issue, so cinematic video focus pulls won't look that cinematic. All right, optically, there are about 2 handfuls full of problems. However, the images coming out of it look good if you're doing wider portrait style shooting. This is a very inexpensive lens, or at least that's one thing that it has going for it, and I can live with the compromises if it doesn't have a $5,100 price tag. Is it better than the TT Artisan 27mm? I'll just rank them down in the description with some links so that you guys can compare and check out current pricing and all of that fun stuff. I think the TT Artisan is still better even though it has its own flaws, but specifically that dedicated aperture ring is a nice addition to that one. If you cannot spring for the now $580 Viltrox 27 f1.2 because you missed the sale where it was $100 off, the best budget alternative to this, in my eyes, is the Viltrox 25mm f1.7. It's not as compact, but still small, great optics, and f1.7, so much brighter lens for only $50 more. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. What is your favorite 23 to 30mm lens for Sony APS-C? I am curious. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.